Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you exactly why James Comey has set the precedent for not indicting, or at least not convicting. If they decide to indict Trump, they'll have a very difficult time circumventing precedent. I'm going to read you James Comey's words pertaining to a much greater scandal and a much more serious and greater dilemma to national security. Infinitely more. Private servers, U-Haul boxes. You do the math. But here, July 5th, 2016, statement by FBI Director James B. Comey on the investigation of Secretary Hillary Clinton's use of a personal email system. I will put this below in the description section. Everyone should read this. If you have any questions as to what's really going on, read James Comey's own words. If they end up indicting Trump, they will not be able to convict him because the precedent has already been set by James Comey. But it's very doubtful that they'll indict him because, like I said, you can read his own words, and I'll read Comey's words right here. Although there is evidence, this is Comey's words, although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Must be nice to be a Democrat. Must be very nice to be Madam Secretary. Now, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. But this is even worse than, and for a variety of reasons, but this is even worse than Twitter suppressing Hunter's clear violations of the law with his emails. But I want a Hillary Trump 2024 for a number of reasons, primarily because we have to relive all of this and finally come to terms with Clinton losing in 2016 and Trump hopefully defeating Clinton again. I think that he will. But I also, just for a number of reasons, I want to see the $20 million venture capital funded 4 million sub channels out there to tell their viewers to vote for Hillary again. I just want to see that for a number of reasons. But anyway, although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor will bring such a case. Do you think that today's Democrats, it's only been since 2016, would accept an FBI director stating, well, although there's evidence of potential violations, although there is evidence that Trump broke laws, no reasonable prosecutor would indict? Do you think that Lawrence Tribe or, anyone in MSNBC or anyone at the Washington Post would accept that if it was Trump? Of course not. Of course not. But here, prosecutors necessarily weigh a number of factors before bringing charges. There are obvious considerations like the strength of evidence, especially regarding intent. Responsible decisions also consider the context of a person's actions and how similar situations have been handled in the past. We will find out within Comey's words. Now, this is the ending of his press conference. This was a very deceitful press conference. What he's saying is, well, we had to look at precedent before deciding whether to indict Clinton. Of course nobody used private servers, secret servers with top secret and special access program intelligence on servers for 4 years that President Obama didn't know of. Inherent to owning servers is the intent to hide. Inherent to owning U-Haul boxes after you were President of the United States of America is the intent to have a library. But with Clinton, the intent was obviously to hide. Almost certainly because of foundation emails and pay-to-play schemes just like Hunter. Look up Tammany Hall. Same thing. It's called honest graft. Democrats have been doing this since the late 1800s. But anyway, if you say, well, no one is above the law, the rule of law must, take into account what Trump has done to this country. Let's talk about real mishandling or blatant law breaking and how the rule of law does not apply to Democrats. For example, 7 email chains concerning matters that were classified at the top secret special access program level when they were sent and received. So hold on. For example, 7 email chains concern matters that were classified at the top secret special access program level when they were sent and received. Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, all of these people, Kleinsmith, they never explained to anyone how the classified special access program SAP Intel was able to get onto Clinton's servers. Again, I want a Hillary Trump 2024. But, and the reason is because, obviously, I'm voting for Trump, but we have to relive 2016 because every day, we are stuck in a time warp. It's like a Twilight Zone. We are stuck in the Twilight Zone in this country. All of this is about Democrats not being able to confront the reality they lost to Trump in 2016. And all of this is the belief, the flawed, twisted, and warped belief that, well, Clinton was investigated and Trump wanted to wanted her to be imprisoned. And so now he's a hypocrite because he has boxes. No. One person committed crimes, you imbecile, and one person didn't. One person was a Secretary of State with secret servers that even the president didn't know of. Her boss, President Obama, did not know of her secret servers that were easily infiltrated, almost certainly, by anyone on the planet or foreign intelligence agent. Even Michael Hayden said that he would lose respect for foreign intelligence agencies. But see, this is ancient history. Do you understand? This is like the Rosetta Stone. This is like ancient history. Okay? Nobody is looking at Comey's words. So that's why this is a very important segment. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Very important. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash. We're over 5,000 subs in the Stock Market Crash channel, which is actually used to be the Bitcoin Crash channel, which Bitcoin will get to 10,000 or lower eventually, unfortunately. But hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. We're almost at 20,000 subs there, and we'll get to over 200,000 subs on this channel. But you have to actually read and ask very simple questions. And I might do another segment on this today because it's very important. How did the emails get there? Did she go to Radio Shack? Did any of her team go to Radio Shack and buy, a cord and stick it into the Pentagon server or the Intel agency servers and then stick the cord into her servers and then transfer the data? How did it work? Nobody knows. Nobody knows and nobody cares because Clinton's a Democrat. But that's illegal. That is a criminal act. You can't just these are secret servers running outside of the U.S. government that mix foundation emails and personal emails and well, who knows? For half the emails were deleted without government oversight, and you had hardware destroyed with hammers. And Clinton allegedly didn't know what the C meant for classified or confidential. But here, these chains involve Secretary Clinton both sending emails about those matters and receiving emails from others about the same matters. There is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or the position of those government employees with whom she was corresponding about these matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for the conversation. Gee, thanks, Comey. You're a swell guy. You're fantastic. You mean that they should have known better? Wow, you're keeping America's secrets safe. Thanks so much. Of course, it's secret servers. This is the problem. Democrats get away with infinitely more than Trump ever could. He didn't commit a crime. Like, there was a leading atheist who stated that Trump University is worse than anything Biden ever did, or Joe or Hunter. This person obviously has no concept of what Hunter through his emails did. And kickbacks is actually a lot worse than Trump University. A lot worse. You don't want government officials accepting money for quid pro quo interactions. You don't want that. That's how governments fall. Okay, you have corrupt governments where they're just getting paid off. You have no government at all. Basically, the whole thing's going to collapse. But, I mean, again, you have the way media, there are people like really highly educated, wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats who have convinced themselves that the hysteria, the apoplectic, indignant reaction to Trump, the allegations that always turn out to be false or extreme leaps of logic, are actually things he committed. They are not. He did not pressure people in Georgia. He did not. They say transfer of power. It was President Obama's administration who investigated an incoming Republican candidate in Trump. An outgoing Democratic administration investigated an incoming Republican administration based on absurd fantasies by Clapper, Brennan, Comey, Strzok, all of them. Because Trump could have been in a Moscow hotel room. How do we know? The Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton. And then Alexander Downer, at a meeting with Papadopoulos, had ties to the foundation. And all roads lead to Bill and Hillary, which is another reason why we have to have Hillary Trump 2024. They would never allow that. Everything they've accused Trump of, his tax returns, the holy grail of criminality, wrong, wasn't indicted there. Nothing's happening in New York. Oh my God, he paid for the... You know what they got his CFO on? Weisselberg? One of the things that he pled guilty, or they charged him with, Trump paid for the tuition of his granddaughter. Something like that. Like, this is like, they're desperately trying to take this man down. It's like, what? And so, he didn't commit crimes in New York. They can't indict him in New York. That's like their best chance to actually, on the state level, is the best chance to indict Trump if he committed a crime. But he didn't. They can't indict him in Georgia. They investigate for public relations purposes. They investigate also with Democrats to say, well, we didn't find anything. No reasonable prosecutor would indict. But they investigate with Trump to convince morally superior, highly educated people that he must be a criminal. Well, because the Washington Post said so, and James Clapper said so. It has to be. Georgia, New York, stormy. The Mueller probe found nothing. Nobody was indicted on conspiring with a foreign intelligence official, which is what the Mueller probe was about. It wasn't about lying to Peter Strzok. Okay, Michael Flynn did nothing wrong other than having that meeting that McCabe organized. Nothing wrong. They said, well, he lied to the FBI. Okay, about what? Oh, he spoke to Sergei Kislyak. Okay, so he was the national security advisor. He can't speak to an ambassador. But where's the audio tape? Oh, the 302s? Okay, so you're trusting agents that had it out for Trump and Flynn to begin with. He had nothing to do with any foreign lobbying. Even the judge even apologized for bringing that up, and then of course all the media ran with it. And another false story. BuzzFeed published the Steele dossier. I'm waiting for BuzzFeed to publish Hunter's emails. That'll never happen in a million years, do you understand? Because Democrats don't publish anything detrimental to their political side. Because if you actually had all of the corruption on the Democratic side and all the corruption on Trump's side, the corruption on the Democratic side far outweigh. It's never talked about, though. Hunter's emails are worse than anything Trump has ever done. Objectively. But you'd have to read them. That leading atheist never read Hunter's emails. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. And so, he also never, he doesn't know anything about the foundation and pay-to-play schemes. He doesn't care. Look, you have to understand something. They are accusing Trump of things he never did and convincing themselves that he did them. They're saying that he's a menace to democracy while at the same time saying he can't run again. Do you understand democracy entails that he runs again? Democracy entails that almost half the electorate, get the candidate they want. That's what a democracy is. The same people who talk about democracy have no problem with Bernie Sanders being cheated or Twitter suppressing stories about Hunter that show clear violations of the law. This is democracy to them. The Lincoln Project. Then they say, oh, the rebuttal is Liz Cheney is not a Democrat. Liz Cheney is a Lincoln Project Republican whose father, Darth Vader, plunged us into never-ending military conflict. And she voted 90% of the time along with Trump. So Kinzinger. But they're leaving office. And she lost miserably and Kinzinger didn't even run. So they want a source of income after they leave. They can't be known as voting 90% along. Go to the 538. You'll see Kinzinger, the people who care about democracy. Kinzinger always looks like he's like constipated or something, looking like that. You should. There should be his name should always be associated with voting alongside Trump 90% of the time, according to 538. Same with Liz Cheney. These people are actors. They act. They don't believe any of this stuff they're saying. Except recently, Kinzinger said, oh yeah, Trump won that fight. It's like, we'll go. Yeah, oh, that's right. He was supposed to have undermined democracy and tried to overthrow the United States government. If you believe that, you're a real imbecile. You had an entire summer of $1 to $2 billion. How many buildings? How much property was destroyed? I support the cause. I support why peaceful people were demonstrating. Very important cause. How do you just ignore $1 to $2 billion in property damage? CNN. This is why Brian Stelter's no longer there. CNN has a journalist in front of a building in flames saying, oh, it's mostly peaceful. It's fiery but peaceful. I mean, the propaganda is so absurd. You'd have to be a complete moron, an imbecile to, believe any of it. But people do. Like Trump, he's done so much bad and so much damage to the country. He had record low in poverty and record highs in household median income. That is considered damage to Democrats, who now have a much higher poverty rate, 15% or so, and household median incomes have plummeted. We're in a recession now, and we have inflation at 8.5%, and they're very happy because it's not 9.1%. Do you understand? Not only do they get away with poor, terrible economy, but they get away with all their corruption and graft, because they have all of media propping up and suppressing any discussion about their actual criminality. They have Comey covering up for them. But here, you could read. I'll probably do more segments on this. In addition to this highly sensitive information, we found information that was properly classified as secret by the U.S. intelligence community at the time it was discussed on email. Well, then how on earth did she get information and data from the U.S. intelligence community? Was she a former president of the United States of America that had boxes for a library? A library? Or was she hiding information? Of course, she was hiding information. Now, with respect to potential computer intrusions by hostile actors, we did not find direct evidence that Secretary Clinton's personal email domain, in its various configurations since 2000, was successfully hacked. Well, what do you think? They're going to leave you a thank you note? But given the nature of the system and the actors potentially involved, we assessed that we would be unlikely to see such direct evidence. Gee, thanks, Comey. You're always on top of everything. You'd have to be a complete fool to believe all of this. This is obvious. This is what's called, now, I'm going to say something morally superior liberal Democrat. You'll have to calm down. I know you're probably hyperventilating now. This is called a cover-up. Yeah, cover-up. Yeah. We do assess that hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people. Oh, so not hers, but the people that she was interacting with. They're the problem. With private email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account. So at least they covered that base. We don't really know if Clinton's private servers that were unencrypted according to Forbes and Fortune for 3 months, we don't really know if they were infiltrated, but apparently the people who had private email that she was speaking to were infiltrated. But she was her systems were okay. Are you serious? She also used her personal email exclusively outside the United States, including sending and receiving work-related emails in the territory of sophisticated adversaries. Gee, what do you think the chances are that other countries, China, Russia, other countries, infiltrated her private servers that were secret even to President Obama? Given that combination of factors, we assess it's possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account. If that's the case, did they get all the SAP and top secret intel? What is absolutely yes, they did. Almost certainly, if Comey is to be believed, which, I mean, he's kind of telling the truth, but not really. Of course. But see, again, you just read Comey's own words. You're going to indict Trump on boxes. And then you have servers for 4 years with top secret intel. You don't even know how they got there. They might. They actually might indict Trump. Because they don't care about hypocrisy. They don't care. They live. That's their code. That's the way they live. And this is 2016. It's basically ancient history. You're basically reading Thucydides, the history of the Peloponnesian Wars. I mean, it's basically it's ancient history. 2016 it's like this. It's like ancient history. Nobody's reading this. Nobody even cares anymore. Well, actually, they do, but nobody's reading these words. That's why this is very important. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel. I could do like 1 million segments on this, but it's unbelievable. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Anyone who makes any claim that Trump's situation now, because of an informant notified the Bureau that he had top secret data or whatever, he was a former president of the United States of America. Clinton was a Secretary of State with a foundation that was pocketing hundreds of millions of dollars, and there was quid pro quo arrangements going on. Two completely different. And you have the digital aspect. Nothing is safe on a phone, which she used, or a server. And then you have boxes with a limited amount of classified data. She had, 110 email chains? Let's see. From the 110 emails in 52 email chains. And by the way, that's absurd also. In 4 years, she only had 110 emails that classified data. That's also absurd. 52 by owning classified information. 8 of those chains, information that was top secret. So, anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Very important segment, people. Very important. Thank you. If you want to read my writing, by the way, in the Hill, the Huffington Post Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. You can see my debates there as well. Just read the Honorable James Comey's words. That's all you need to know. Give me your